So normally I'm here showing you what's in one of the Lingerie Society boxes. Today I'm going to be showing you what I made. And yes, as you can see, the box has been through quite the wars. I'm going to pull it out one by one. It's probably no coherent order, but let's go for it. So this is the November box. You can actually see the cutting out video. I'm going to put the link down below in the description box. If you like seeing what I do with all of these, please subscribe to the channel. It helps me out a lot and helps me know what to do more of. All right, let's see what I made. So with the November box, I was trying out some new things. First up was the Chelsea bra from Contour Atelier. So this was my first time using their patterns. So it is a single darted cup, which is fabulous when you want to show off some lace. So with this one, the lace was, I had enough for my cups and I wanted to save some aside as well. So I've just done a little bit, hang on, I'm going to do the bra up to make it easier to handle. I did think I should probably put it on a coat hanger, but then forgot to get the coat hanger as I was setting up. Okay, I'm on set now. So this is the actual bra, and as you can see here, I have just covered up the edging. So the bra itself is just the lace on the outer, and then the inner is the bra lining. And I made the bridge mostly out of the lace with just the lining, but this one I needed to add a little bit because I just didn't have quite enough to get down, and I added the cute little charm from the kit as well. So I've made this one up, I've tried it on. I haven't yet done the whole day wear, which for me is where I really notice if it works for me or not, because if I can't stand it for a whole day, well then there's something wrong. So in terms of fit, it's quite good so far. It is a full coverage cup, which is different to some of the styles that I would normally wear, but yeah, it's fun. It's very fast make because of the single dart. So that was make number one from the November box. Then some of these I just need to add some hooks and sliders to, and some bits and pieces, because I tried to use up as much from the kit as possible and then add just a few little extra things in to finish things off. So next up I have, now these are the Studio Costura knickers. I can't remember the name of them. I'm going to put a link down below. They're super sweet. I really like the way you can use lace with them. So the pink lace, the fold over, and the minty green are all part of the kit. I added this cream lace so I could finish off the edges. My favorite part of these is the bottom though, because I really love the way that vintage lace looks. I chose not to cut the mint fabric away from underneath the lace. I did think about it for a while, but then I wanted to be able to wash them and put them through the washing machine, and like I've always put them into a Delicate's wash bag, but I was like, if I cut them away, I was a little bit worried about this vintage lace, so I was just like, I'm just going to leave it. So I've left the fold over longer at the moment. What I actually need to do, which I haven't had time to do, is you measure it and you add a little O-ring and a slider for it to bring round, so you just have like a little strap sort of side to it, and I just literally have just had no time. So it's a really sweet pant, comes together in no time, takes really small amounts of fabric, so that's a really great way to actually do it. And you can see on the outside I've actually just zigzagged the lace on, which you can barely see, and then just on the inside you just have a line. So that was the first knicker from the actual box. Next up is a pair of Mary knickers. These ones I've been experimenting with just leaving the bottoms cut raw, which I tried on another pair that I've been wearing, don't really like, so I'm actually going to go back and finish these ones off. But I just really like them. They're great sleep shorts as well. Basic. So that's my Mary Knicker pattern. You can find that on my website. And it's been upgraded to a size 30 for that one as well. So sorry, I didn't actually explain about the actual fabric. So the blue fabric was in the kit as well. So the mint green we just saw on the last one was a little bit slinkier. This one's a little bit more stable, so it was easy to sew the little vintage motifs onto. And then I just added the little bow and the little charm, and the pretty picot was from the kit as well. So that was all pretty simple, pretty straightforward. Again, another pair of Studio Costura knickers, which I haven't measured the edges of. So these ones, I've used the last of the lace from that matches the bra, which was really cute. It has no lining behind the lace because it's a little bit more of a stable kind of lace. And here I've used the blue picot and the fold over elastic, which was all part of the kit. So they're just really sweet, and I can't wait to actually have time to finish the little straps on the sides. On the backs, this kit had lots of really beautiful little vintage touches to it. So I've just added the little vintage motifs on the back, mostly because I wanted to use up as much of the kit as I possibly could. So I just thought that was a sweet little touch on the back as well. So that was a cute little knicker. So again, that's the Studio Costura ones. I'm going to put the links down below. So far I've got 3 pairs of knickers, a fully wired bra. To give you an eye on sort of sizing, these are between an Australian 16 to an 18, and off the top of my head I can't remember what size I made in the bra. I think it was a double D cup, maybe the E cup. I followed their measuring system exactly, didn't make any changes from their measuring system at all, so I was quite keen to see how it's going to work long term, so I might be able to report back on that one in a later date. Alright, then also out of the kit I managed to use up the blue more stable fabric, which has already been used for the Mary knicker and the back of the Studio Costura knicker for one of those pairs. I also got an Emma slip out of. So the Emma is one of my patterns. If anyone hadn't figured out, a lot of my patterns will be named after Jane Austen characters, so or just characters from classic novels that I love. So this one, all of the bone coloured fold over was included in the kit. I've used the same pink vintage lace to fold over the cups, and this time I'll flip it inside out in a bit. I actually have cut it away so that it is sheer behind. And then on the bottom, I've actually used the heavier pure style lace down the bottom as well. So it actually looks really cute. I might try and see if I can take some photos to share of that as well, because altogether it came out really well. And all I did at the bottom was actually sewed the lace, starting so that the bottom edge of the lace was at the bottom of where I would normally hem, stitched it on, and then just cut the bottom off, because that was way easier than trying to figure out how to reduce the pattern size. So it's just been zigzagged on along the edge. The blue knit doesn't fray, but it's just been cut along the edge. So it's a really simple way to add the lace in and get some usage out of the lace. The weight of the guipure lace also kind of pulls it down, not in a heavy kind of dragging way, but just in like a nice let's sit in place way. So that was fun. And then if I show you the vintage lace that crosses on the cups, what I did was I wanted to add a little bit of stability to this somewhat gentle vintage lace. So I've zigzagged it twice. So I've zigzagged on the outer scallop and then along the inside as well. When you zigzag, try and have a neat small zigzag that's not pulling in your fabric too much. What you want to try and do is just aim for a nice flat zigzag. So play around with your stitches and your needle type to actually get to there. And then you just kind of keep on rolling it through. So sometimes you can see where I've stopped and started on my machine to go through, but you can actually just see the scallop. So I sewed it all on, and then I went back in and I cut the fabric away. When you're cutting it away, you can use curved scissors. I find just really pointy, my little embroidery scissors I actually use, I find a lot easier because I find that it helps me to fold the lace back, pull the knit fabric the other way and then cut away. I find that a little bit more control. Sometimes I feel with the curved scissors it's really easy to accidentally snip what's behind. So yeah, so that was an Emma slip. And then leftovers. I have some more charms and flowers. So I think I've got 3 more bows, some of the little vintage flowers, and some of the little labels. I 100% forget to add labels every time. So some of these little embroidered guys and some of these little bows. And I think I can spy one more charm down the bottom there as well. Yeah, the little butterfly charm down the bottom. And then I've basically got some scraps. Now, if I tried very hard, some things that are useful from the so-called scraps. Peach coloured power mesh. There's more than enough here for me to get another set of backs. So that's automatically going to go into my stash. And it's going to be useful and I can use it for other things. So totally useful. I think with the mesh lining, I think this might be the biggest bit I have left. The cups on the Chelsea bra from Contour Atelier are really quite big because they've got just a central dart. They kind of splay open like a butterfly, which makes them quite big in my size. So I used a lot of the lining, so I don't have much of that left, and I don't know if I've got, like, maybe I can fit some bridges out of some of the leftovers, but I don't think I'd ever be able to get cups or parts of cups out of it again in my sort of size. I possibly have enough of the minty green mesh to fit at least another back or front of a pair of knickers or a full frame, maybe partial parts of a bra or a bralette if I panelled it together with other things. Again, similar with the blue. The blue is like, I laid everything out. You can see this in the cutting video. When I cut, I tried to be as economical as possible. So I have some parts which are bigger and then some parts which are really scrappy. I think if I lay it all flat again and place them, like, just play around with what pattern pieces, I think I could get more, I'm trying to think what I've got left. I reckon I could probably get a bralette and maybe another pair of knickers out of it. They might have to have some strategic seams, but I think that would actually happen with those ones. Got another piece of lining left, might make a bridge, wouldn't make a side panel for me. And this isn't to say that you can't get a lot out of the kits, but you can see from my cutting videos how I plan them all out and try to use the maximum. It's also totally okay to just like make one thing and then come back to it. I just wanted to show you possibilities with this. When it comes down to the coloured lace, I'm really down to scraps, and not even scraps that I could then applique onto things, I don't think. Like I'm really down to small kind of amounts of that. Some scraps of some power mesh, extra scraps. A fraction of the wider Gapure lace. I reckon this could definitely be used again. And one of the things you could do is see these lines that come down here. You could actually cut down the lines and break this into 3 different lines. And when you broke it into 3 different lines, you could use it as an insertion lace, you could use it as different things like that. So even though it's a small amount, it's not a useless amount. You just got to think about it a little bit. And then I have a tiny section of strapping left. Everything else got used. So all of the elastics that came with the kit definitely got used. I added in that extra creamy one to make one of the pairs of knickers. So yeah, I think I did pretty well in using it all up. So these leftovers, I will resort. I will add the useful pieces back in to my stash. So what I was just looking at is my stash actually sits beside me, which hopefully you can't see because it's big and messy at the moment. What I normally do is I have like one section which is all my power mesh, and then one section with all of the pieces which are left over, which are perfect for knickers or bralettes. I have one that's just lace. Just so that way, if I want to try a new size, or I'm trying a new to me pattern or something like that, I can just grab and just kind of make it out of all the leftovers. Because sometimes I don't mind that I have one that's maybe not super matchy when I'm trying it out. So will all be used at some point. Any of the scraps I don't use, I actually have a scrap box which I then turn into other things. So if you've watched any of my beginner programs, you will see that I've made a really fancy door snake. Door snakes are really good stuff with all the little bits of your bras, leftover bits, because they're nice and small, because they're mostly nylons and polyesters and elastanes. They're not going to break down, so some fabric recycling places won't take those. So I just reuse them in other ways. So this won't go to waste, and all of these are about to join my wardrobe. Plus I have to add the extra hooks and eyes, sorry, not hooks and eyes, sliders and O-rings into the Studio Costura knickers. So yeah, lots of nice fun things to add back again. A few new to me patterns. I haven't tried the Studio Costuras before, so that's a new to me pattern, and the bra is a new to me pattern as well. So it's fun to try new ones. If anyone has any patterns they would like me to try or review, can you please leave them in the comments? That's how I found out about the Contour Atelier pattern, so thank you very much to the person who recommended that. It's led to me buying the pattern and trying out the bra. So yeah, that's all I've made from the box. I'm going to put links down below to not only the Lingerie Society, where you can buy more subscription boxes, but also to my cutting out video, which you can see where I did it, and all of the patterns too. Okay, thanks so much, and don't forget to subscribe.